Welcome to the Capital G Podcast, your weekly roundup for gaming news with Jared.
And Jay. Today, we're starting off with a Mario Kart update that has ruined online play for a lot of players out there.
And then Capcom had a little spotlight in June.
Riot Games is taking on gambling sponsorships for their esports.
Battlefield had some leaked gameplay.
And getting into Mario Kart. There was a new update that came out on June 26th. And it was a pretty small update looking at the patch notes, but it left players a little peeved off.
Very peeved off. I think more than just a little peeved off. People are very peeved off.
It was, at first I saw the patch notes and I was like, oh god, it couldn't be that bad. But let's get into it. So the patch notes are basically when you play online play and you're not doing a knockout tour, you're doing a regular online play race. You don't do the 3 laps traditionally of a Mario Kart race. You can, when you vote on what track you want to go to, you drive to the track and then you do like 1 or maybe 2 laps of the actual track. You don't get to do the full 3 like a regular Mario Kart thing like you would do in time trials.
Yeah.
So the way most people got around this, because no one liked that. And I saw, because I got the Switch 2 day 1, by the time a few days after the game came out, everyone was voting random. Because when you vote random, it would just pick like a random track on the map, and you would just start there, and then you do the full 3 laps, because you wouldn't have to drive from the track you're currently on to the next one. I remember it was not long until I had a lobby that everyone was voting random. There was not a single person not voting random, because everyone just wanted to play the traditional 3 laps.
I'm assuming you had to get to like, not even that high of an elo to get that going too.
No, just like once you've gotten enough where you're not like playing with people who just started, who like don't understand how the online matchmaking work. Like as soon as you were aware that that was the feature in the game, you're like, oh, I'm just going to vote random every single time. Unless like your favorite track came up. So then they did the update, and the update made it so that when you vote random, it doesn't mean it's going to be it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a completely random spot. It prioritizes the 3 that you can vote for normally. So it makes it so it's way more likely that you have to drive to your next course, and you don't get to do the full 3-course lap.
So did they just increase the likelihood that you'll get the 3 that are near you, they decrease the likelihood of the like tracks that are farther away?
Yeah, when I saw people reacting to it online, I thought it was just like guaranteed that it had to be the 3. Like it's randomly picking between the 3 that you could vote for.
That's kind of what I was gathering as well from doing the
Yeah,
research.
because from people's reactions, you think like the sky fell down.
Yeah.
But it was just that it increases the chances, but I think it increases chances like a lot.
So it's increased chance of having new Mario Kart World way of racing, where it's like 1 track, 1 lap, and then it's on to the next track, 1 lap.
Yeah, it increases the chance of you doing the connecting bits, which is...
Yeah, versus the traditional way, which is not likely to happen much anymore, which is 3 laps, 1 track.
Yeah, 3 laps around the same track. It's more like we're connecting in between all the actual tracks. We're doing like the in-between roads, which are fun, I think, in Knockout Tour, because it's like so chaotic with the items and it's all about endurance. But when you're playing online, you kind of just want to like play the track, because I feel like it's more skill-based when you're doing the 3 laps, because it's like, how well do you know the track? Can you memorize the best route? Can you do all like these secret little shortcuts and stuff? Because there's so many cool ones in Mario Kart World with wall riding and stuff. But when you're doing all like the super long straightaway shit, you're just driving straight. Like at first when I was playing, because I tried it out after everyone was mad about the update, I was like, okay, I'm going this open mind. Maybe the straight back bits won't be so boring. There was one point where I looked down at my controller and I was not pressing any buttons. I was just holding down A, and I was in first place, and I was just like, okay, there's nothing to do.
It just got boring. There's like no stakes at all. You were just...
Yeah, there's just a moment where I was like, oh, I'm not pressing any buttons. I don't have to think about anything, because there's no options. Like there's no gameplay options between me just driving straight. Like the fastest route is just me to hold down A.
Were you even like waiting for people to like throw items at you? It was just like...
No, because I had like my defensive item already go. I had 2 items. You know, I couldn't even pick up any more items because I already had 2 items that are good defense items. It was just weird. And it's like, I can understand why they want people to play like this whole map that they designed, but it was clear, like you would think, if you're developers, like, okay, clearly people don't like that. Let's encourage that behavior, so like maybe we even cut out all the in-between stuff when you're online. But now they're like, oh, actually you have to play that. You have to eat your broccoli. You can't just have the ice cream.
I think they should just add 2 playlists of just like, you have the races that like offer the intermission. Well, I know the community calls them intermission races. Yeah. Where you offer intermission races in one playlist, and then the other playlist is traditional 3-lap races. But I wouldn't see Nintendo adding that, because then it splits the player base. But I also think an overwhelming majority of people would go for the traditional 3-lap races anyway. which they don't want because this is a new feature that they made.
Yeah, I find it weird. Like I do see the appeal of that, but you're right, it'll just split up even more because people currently split between the regular online and the knockout tour. I think if people want to play all the in between stuff, which there is some appeal to that, they should just play knockout tour. And if they want to do the real fast pace, 3-lap races, just play the regular online mode. I would cut out all the other connecting bits on the online.
Yeah,
it's way less more fun. It's like I was so hyped for the game, and I was like, I'm excited to play this open world. The open world is kind of fun. The best part of the open world is when you're waiting for a game to start, because it's a good loading screen. It's a good place to just like dink around, but it's like I don't want to spend a lot of time here, and I don't want to drive straight. I just want to master these tracks because there's so many cool speedrunning tricks where like, you take this corner, you ride this wall, you do a jump, but when you're doing the straightaway, you're like, sometimes you can cut like super huge corners if you have mushrooms, but if you don't have mushrooms and you're just doing nothing.
Right. I did see someone say that they felt kind of slighted because they had spent so much time mastering tracks for 3 laps, and then for it to just be 1 lap, they feel like all that practice was kind of for nothing.
Yeah, because sometimes like the way the laps work, it's like you don't even get the full momentum of like playing multiple laps, and I don't know. It just really, Mario Kart has like a certain itch in my brain, and when I play it, I just want to like learn the tracks and master them. And it's like this kind of takes that spark away, which is sad because I was so hyped for this game. I could see them just reverting this change, like just changing it back exactly the way it was before.
You're optimistic they will change it? I kind of feel like they're going to double down. I think they're going to double down the double down, and they're going to be like, you have to just keep playing this. You'll get used to it.
I don't know. Nintendo's weird. Like if it was any other company, I would just be like, oh, they're just gonna revert the patch. But Nintendo's so weird. They're smelling their own farts
stance.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They're like, they think they're the, and they are, but it's like maybe take a little community advice, especially when your game is like online focused.
Yeah. I want to pull. Okay. I want to talk about some of the quotes that we pulled from Reddit. Because I was very curious as to what the community was thinking. Well, and this is also from someone named Hush, a Fammy Boards member, and this quote's awesome. The first sentence, well, that was basically a waste of money, I guess. Won't touch this game until this tone-deaf and idiotic decision is fixed.
That is crazy.
I mean, I don't own a Switch 2. I haven't played Mario Kart World. But I can understand that it's frustrating after it's been this way for so long. And I don't even think this is a thing of like gamers hate change. I think it's just they had like a golden, like they had the blueprint, and then it just, I don't know, they just threw it out the window.
Yeah, the weird part is like they figured out with like the open world maps, like what would be a really good game mode for this. They figured out Knockout Tour. That works perfectly for that mode.
I hear glowing reviews of Knockout Tour.
Yeah, because it's like so much more chaotic and like momentum based. And you're like, it's like, I don't know, it's a whole different beast, and it works well on those straightaway tracks because it's so crazy, especially with the 24 players.
Because that's kind of like Battle Royale adjacent, right? Where it's like,
yeah, when you just want to do a regular race, you just want to do a regular race.
Yeah. I also pulled this quote because I thought it was funny. This one was from Reddit, from user Terror Error. They said, I haven't played since the update, but you're all making me very concerned.
That's how I was feeling.
I love that sentiment so much.
Yeah, that's definitely how I was feeling because everyone was like freaking out, especially on Reddit. And when I played the other day, I got a really good streak because I was like, oh, I have to try this out for the podcast so I can have an actual opinion on it.
Yeah.
I was on a really good streak where like all the races we were playing on in our lobby were on the edge. So you only had one connecting one. So even the 2 that you could vote for would let you do the full 3 laps. So I was just like on a really good streak of only doing 3 laps. I think I played 3-lap matches online for like 30 minutes straight with no interconnecting bits.
Oh, so you barely even experienced it.
Yeah.
So does it feel like people are making a big deal kind of I don't know, because it's...
No, but then once we got into it, we basically were just only playing intermission maps and after that.
Yeah.
Because I played for like an hour and half my time was like good and the other half was like, ooh, I kind of want to stop playing now after every single race.
Yeah. As a diehard, like you being a diehard Mario Kart fan, do you think the whole community is overreacting?
I think it's interesting because there's 3 groups of people. There's like noobs or people who like just don't care about like the meta and stuff. I think they'll be completely fine. They'll have fun just like throwing items and being in last place all the time. But then there's people who are like me where it's like they want to sweat a little bit, where it's like this kind of just like ruins the fun. But then there's like the pros and the people who really sweat who like go on these websites, join custom discords, and they all join just like private lobbies, so they don't have to worry about any of that. So
Oh, I suppose that. Yeah, I guess that
yeah, where you just like pick the maps and stuff, and they set all their own rules, and it's making me, who's like that middle person, who's like I'm not deep enough in where I'm like I'm gonna join the pro websites and like sign up for all this stuff. I'm thinking about like I need to find a Discord so I can play the lobbies I actually want to play.
And I feel like that's the majority of people that are playing Mario Kart World right now, who went out, got a Switch, or are playing Mario Kart, are people who are like, I want to be good at this, and I kind of want to sweat a little bit at least. Especially if
I don't
you're
know. I
if
feel
you're
like people
playing
on
online.
Reddit, they're like, I don't actually want to try to be good at this game. I just want the game to be fun.
But I'm
Which
seeing even casual players that are mad. Like casual players are upset about this change because it seems like nobody enjoys intermission races.
yeah, there's like different levels of casual. Like if you're casual enough where you don't like understand what patch notes are, I think you're not even gonna. You're just like, what? There was a change.
Yeah, and I guess there are a lot of people who like only play Mario Kart locally, like with their with friends or family.
Like if I was a kid playing this, I don't think I'd pay. I don't think I'd ever notice that they made that change. Because you're like, oh, it's random. I just thought it was random. I didn't even notice they changed how the random works.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, if you're not paying attention to big updates like that, then but maybe you notice it because of how maybe it is a lot more frequent, like people are saying. I don't know, but I did see a lot of YouTube thumbnails of people being like, "I'm done," or "Mario Kart is over."
I think I don't know. It's hard to say it's over because they could just fix it so easily.
They could literally just revert the change, but it's Nintendo and they're very stubborn. Like we're
They're
talking like
stubborn, but they
toddler
do
type
patches.
stubborn.
They patch Mario Kart like when the meta was so set in stone with Waluigi Wiggler for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like years after the game, they're like, let's update it so it's different.
Yeah, but that was years later. Like, do you think they would switch? You know, do you think it would take that long for them to change something like that? Something that's so like overabundantly hated in the community.
I don't. I think they could change it pretty quickly because towards the end of Mario Kart Deluxe, they're like constantly making changes, and I feel like because this update came out so quickly after the game's launch, they're like, maybe we'll update it. You know, like maybe they already saw the feedback and like, oh, we'll update it, but they only want to update the game like once every month. You know,
Yeah,
because Nintendo's weird. You just never know like what's going on in Nintendo.
that's true. They keep everything very very like tight wrapped. You don't get like dev diaries like
Yeah,
some
they're
other.
those like Marvel rivals, and they're not like Splitgate 2 where they're gonna be like commenting on Reddit, being like, hey, this is what we're thinking.
Yeah, it's they. You're not gonna see a single Nintendo rep being like, "Hey guys, it's me. Ask me anything. I will give you all the information you need to know."
Yeah, like, oh, we were just doing this, but we see all the feedback. We're thinking about it. But we have read all your feedback. It's like you just gotta hope that everyone gets angry enough that they see it and that they actually care.
Yeah, and
'Cause I was like,
nobody will
maybe,
know until an update goes out. There will be nothing,
yeah,
nothing prior, like nothing like we're pushing out an update for this. No one will know until the update goes live.
yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. But
It
I saw on
is.
Reddit that someone reposted something that was like posted on a Japanese social media, and I guess they were mad also. Like everyone in the whole world,
Yeah, everyone's
the
upset.
Japanese player was like, I don't like this. So hopefully that gets them. Like it's not like just like a weird niche, really small group of people. It's like, nah, no one's really a big fan of this.
I just don't know if I don't think Nintendo should have that kind of sauce where they're like, they can get away with a change like that, have zero communication, and then people aren't like overly like people don't get upset at Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't know. But also, it's just like it makes money to be upset at Nintendo. You know, all these Nintendo YouTubers, they can post their Mario streaming
Oh, they
thumbnails
are
and be
making
like, "Oh,
so
Mario,
much
oh,
bank.
Nintendo days." Huh?
You kind of love to see they at least they love to see the drama because it's like,
They're
oh
like,
wait, here's my paycheck.
like, oh, I've played Mario Kart for 2 hours when the game came out, but actually, this update makes me want to go over there and do something crazy. Nintendo, they're driving me wild.
Driving me crazy. Yeah, I guess for the people who need the content, it's content that's for sure.
So yeah, I'm optimistic, but when I did play it, I was like, wow, this is literally just driving in a straight line. The memes are real. It's not that good. But maybe I'll start sweating and become a pro now because this motivates me to join like custom discords where I meet other nerds who are like, actually, I only want to play the 3 laps.
just no fun allowed. Only 3
Mm.
laps. It's almost it kind of reminds me of
no
like
items.
like in Smash Brothers. Exactly. I was just gonna say that Smash Brothers, no items, 3 stocks, 7 minutes. It
Yeah.
has to be this way. I can't lie though.
I guess you
I'm
do.
that way in Smash. I cannot lie
But
at all.
Nintendo's like that, where it's like they want to make a game for everyone. But then
That's
the people
true.
who play the game are like, I want this game to be for me.
I think Nintendo is very just anti-competitive when it comes to their games because they make the game being like this is supposed to be enjoyed as a family and friends type of experience. This is not supposed to be, $250,000 is on the line. Whoever knows the speedrun strats,
Yeah.
it,
Maybe they saw people doing the 3 laps and like, wow, that guy just learned a frame perfect skip of like half the lap, maybe we should make it so you can only play one lap.
At that
So
rate,
it's
it's
less
kind of
frustrating.
like just like they introduced like an entirely new movement system into Mario Kart World with
No,
wall
I think they
riding
knew
and
they were doing. I
grinding.
see some videos and like Nintendo didn't know what they were cooking with this one. I'm like, they knew. They knew they're like, oh, we're gonna pop off with this one, make some crazy shortcuts.
Which it
So
is
I think
insane. The shortcuts are crazy. But do you think they
I think
got?
they
I
want
mean,
they
they could
want
have
some
gotten.
sweats.
I think they could have gotten maybe too too mad. But I don't know. Maybe they just did it because they're like, hey, our devs made this mode. You guys are gonna play it.
I think it was just a naive change. Hopefully they'll change it back.
To quote this Family Boards guy, an idiotic decision.
An idiotic decision.
Idiotic
Waste
decision.
of money.
Waste of my god money.
Well, I think that covers that. You want to move into the next one because I think Mario Kart.
Yeah, let's hit this
Hopefully
Capcom spotlight. I was actually very excited about the Capcom spotlight. So they showed off some of their new games. They showed 2 brand new IPs, or no, one new IP, Pragmata. And they showed off some Resident Evil Requiem gameplay. That's Resident Evil 9. And then they showed off updates for 2 of their games that are already out, being Street Fighter 6. And then my personal favorite showcase was the Monster Hunter Wilds title update 2 preview. That was really good. But we'll start with Pragmata. Pragmata didn't really pique my interest too much until I watched this trailer, but it takes place at like this like lunar facility, and you play as this guy named Hugh Williams, and then he gets another character along with him named Diana, and you kind of play as both of them. And
Like
to
Donkey
me,
Kong.
like Donkey. Wait, this is Mega Man Donkey Kong. But I think seeing it now, it looks pretty cool. But it's you play as both these characters, and Diana is like a little girl who sits on your back, and she like hacks robots in front of you, and then exposes their weak points, and then Hugh shoots them, like in their weak points and stuff. But the gimmick with Diana is that it's more like a puzzle game. So like it pops up with like a screen, and then you have to like solve this puzzle and like catch like a bunch of nodes, and then finish the puzzle. And then like the more nodes you have captured, the more damage your attacks will do to weak points. There was
Yeah,
also
it's like a regular hacking that's like in like Spider-Man or any of these other games where it's like a little hacking mini game. It looks really cool.
It does look cool. I like that they're putting it
You
into
have to do it
combat.
like real time, so it's like you have to be like quick with it a little bit. I think
Yeah.
it slows down the game a little bit, but it's like you have to quickly hack this robot.
The
You can shoot it.
slowdown, I don't know if that was a gameplay thing or if they just did that just to show off how it works. But I would
I
assume
think
it'd be a
it's got to
gameplay
give you a
thing.
little bit of time.
Right.
Like the harder the enemy, probably the longer it gives you.
Right. They showed off a little bit of the story too, which I thought was kind of cool. But they just they kept it pretty brief. But you're on like a lunar research station. The enemies are rogue generative AI. And on this like research station, it was like filled with a bunch of humans and stuff and like scientists, and they were researching like a new material that can 3D print almost anything. And in the trailer, they said microchips, cars, and even giant structures. And they showed like a 3D model of like bridges and buildings and stuff that this material can 3D print.
It looked pretty hype. I like the vibes of the trailer.
It did look very cool. The gunplay kind of reminded me of another Capcom IP, which was Exo Primal. So it seems like they're taking that and kind of just making it into like a single player narrative experience, but then having it also be like part puzzler, which intrigues me a lot.
It was
But-
really cool than just like a generic third-person action game.
Right. I think it does look pretty cool. But the from what I could tell on the gameplay though, it looked like it was like set inside arenas, and then so there's gonna be like it almost like kind of like a traditional Xbox 360 title of just like there's like kind of a linear way to go through a building or like a level. And then there's like platforming with Hugh, and then Diana does a lot of the hacking puzzles. So you're kind of using both of them and both of them have to like kind of rely on each other to escape the facility and get back to Earth. And then it shoves you into an arena for combat where you have to do like the hacking mini game to then kill the AI. But I thought,
Like Skylanders.
is that how Skylanders works? I have no
You
idea.
gotta like walk in. You gotta like walk into a room, and then you have to kill all the enemies before you can leave.
I see. Yeah, I'm interested in this one. But the next game they showed off was Street Fighter 6 as well. There wasn't really too much with Street Fighter 6. They just showed like a new character's coming. I think it's Sagat. He's coming into the game, and then they're adding like a fighting pass, which is like their battle pass, and then they're including like a bunch of cosmetics, including bikini skins.
Woo, let's
Gotta
get excited. Get ready for the summer.
gotta have those bikini skins.
That'll sell. That'll sell.
But then they dove back into Resident Evil Requiem after showing some of that at, was it Summer Games Fest that they showed?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
they
teased
unveiled
Summer
they
Games
unveiled
Fest.
yeah, they showed Requiem at Summer Games Fest. I think the main takeaway that a lot of people liked was the game can switch between first person and third person gameplay, which like first person is kind of like, oh look, it looks like new Resident Evil games, kind of like Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 7, but then third person was like, oh, okay, this is reminding me of some of the older Resident Evil games. And I thought that was kind of interesting that you could switch between the two, and you can switch between the two on the fly, which is nice. They showed off like the main character too, which is Agent Grace Ashcraft, who is an FBI agent. She was in the first like teaser trailer that they showed off, but they showed off like more, like a little bit more gameplay of her running around like some mansions. She had like a lighter at one point to like going down hallways, and they were really trying to go for like more of a horror vibe, which I think is the direction they're pushing Resident Evil.
It was too scary.
It was very scary.
I was watching
cool.
the trailer. I'm like, there's a reason I don't play these Resident Evil games. This is terrifying.
Yeah. It takes place after Resident Evil 3 as well. So it's like 30 years after a missile strike happened on like the first town in where the virus started in the Resident Evil series, which is Raccoon City. So it's like they called it, quote, a passing of the torch. It's like a requiem of the series. So I thought that was I like that it's going back to it's like original starting point. But okay, I lied about the main takeaway being first and third person. The main takeaway was that they mentioned Leon Kennedy by name, who is the main protagonist of Resident Evil 4 and like arguably probably the most recognizable and beloved Resident Evil character. And they just straight up said, yeah, Leon was gonna be in the game and he was probably gonna be the main protagonist, but we cannot base a game around him because he's too goofy. Like a horror game specifically, because they want this to be more scary. They said we cannot put Leon in the game because he's too goofy. He's too silly, unserious to be in a game like this. But people are still holding on to hope that he could come into the game, which, I don't know. We'll see. I would find that hype because I think he is silly and goofy, and I think it'd kind of add like more of a lighthearted tone to something that's like that they're trying to make extremely scary.
I wish I liked those games. People talk, they're like gaming classics, you know? They're a tentpole industry or a franchise, but I don't know. I
think you can do Resident Evil 4. I think you do Resident Evil 4. It's not so bad.
I should probably play some of them at some point because they're not, you know, people really like them, and I don't know. I should just get over it and play a horror game at some point.
Resident Evil 4 is a good one. You have a VR headset, you can play Resident Evil 4 in VR. I think that's a good way to experience it.
That's a bad way to start. That's a bad way to start.
Their next thing that they showed was Monster Hunter Wilds, which stole the show for me, but I'll wait to get into it. But they showed off Title Update 2, which is now released. This is already a thing that has come out. But in the trailer, I'll talk about what they showed in the trailer anyway, because it's still important. They showed off Legiacris, which is a monster that was originally in Monster Hunter 3, and then was later in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and he's like huge fan favorite monster. But he's back, and I'll talk about his fight later. It was extremely good. And Seregios is back, which not a lot of people knew was going to come to the game, because they didn't show anything off in teasers or nothing. They just said, oh, we also have something else. Here's Seregios, who was the flagship, like, big deal monster in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So they're really bringing back these old monsters, I think trying to please some of the older fans, because a lot of the older fans, like, it's weird. They have, like, a love-hate relationship with Wilds, and a lot of older fans are also extremely elitist towards the other games, which I get, you know, it's their baby. But so far, the reception for Legiacris and Seregios has been pretty positive.
They named that one right, Legiacris, like the game is laggy.
It did. Your poor PC. That game looked insane on your computer.
It was bad.
They say that's another thing they said in the update, because they did like their own little, or they did they talked about like PC performance a little bit, and they said they've fixed some issues, but they're still working on it, of trying to get like PC performance, you know, working pretty solid.
Check the Steam reviews.
Yeah, it's rough. I haven't looked at the Steam reviews since the update, but I mean, reception across the internet has been good. Yeah, I gotta know.
My computer, like, they don't have to make it for my computer, but it seems like a lot of other people also have the issue.
Well, yeah, it seems like. I mean, I haven't tested it on my computer because I play on Xbox, and on Xbox it runs pretty well. Like it runs fine. But on my computer with the chip that I got, most people are getting like 70 frames, which I think is fine. But I don't know. I feel like I can't speak for the community. But they also showed off. I love this. They added layered weapons to the game. Layered weapons are actually pretty amazing because like a lot of the weapons that they have towards the late game are kind of ugly. So this kind of gives more choice to the player since they already have a system which is layered armor. So you can have like a amalgamation of a bunch of different armors all together, but then you can take like a cohesive armor set and like just like make yourself look as swagged out as you want, and then still have the like stats and bonuses from other armor sets. And they're doing the same thing with weapons, where you can have like this weapon that has all the stats that you want, elements that you want, whatever, but then you get the like aesthetics of a weapon that you prefer more. So you can have like a more cohesive. People call it fashion hunting in Monster Hunter.
I checked the reviews, and it has gotten only worse.
It's gotten worse.
It's gone from mixed to overwhelmingly negative.
Oh my god. Well, okay, I'm seeing what you posted. It's overwhelmingly negative for recent reviews, still mixed for overall reviews. So, man, I don't. Did people really not enjoy the update on Steam? I mean, I'm sure it's still all about like
it's a lot of performance.
Performance, yeah, still very much performance. Which I mean, I can't blame people. They got to keep working on it. But they said they're still going at it. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of recent reviews. Yeah, I can't even play it. Can't believe they don't focus on the graphic issues. Yeah, the console experience is fine. But
this person said they had fun until the Title 2 update, and it corrupted their save.
It corrupted? No way!
That's rough.
That's an issue. That's a big issue.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I think people seem like to be a new bit angry over the performance because it's like, wow, another update and the performance isn't any better.
Yeah. Oh jeez.
Yikes.
The console experience really isn't too terrible. Like I'm getting like 60 most of the time on console. But yeah, they showed off a new summer festival as well. It's gonna run from July 23rd to August 6th. They showed off Arch-Tempered Uthduna, which Uthduna is already a monster in the game. But the Arch-Tempered, well, tempered versions of monsters are harder versions of like regular monsters, and then Arch-Tempered are even harder with like new movesets and a ton more health, and they hit way harder. But that quest will be around from July 30th to August 20th, and you'll have like a certain amount of time to complete that kind of quest or grind that kind of quest, because usually those monsters come with their own armor sets as well, and once like the quest is gone, it's usually gone. But sometimes they'll re-release them back so people can get those. They released some free emotes, cosmetic packs as well, and they buffed Hammer, which a lot of people have been wanting for a long time because it was pretty weak. But I want to talk about Legiacris, because that fight is cinematic as hell. It opens up with like a really nice cutscene, sets up the monster with like it fights like another monster, but another monster, Rathalos, like slams its tail into Lagiacrus and it just doesn't flinch. Just aura farms the fuck out of this other monster and then proceeds to shoo it off, like slam it and then shoo it off. And then you have to fight it after seeing all that. But the quest forces you to capture it. You can't kill it. You have to capture it in this quest. Because the guy that's alongside you in the quest goes, I don't want you to kill it. Please capture it. Because those are my morals. And you know what? I kind of respect that. But yeah, the intro fight, I feel like when you fight him the first time, it isn't so bad. But then I fought the tempered version, and that was so much more difficult. He hits like a Mack truck, and he's so much more faster than he was previously. And I think I died like 3 times fighting him, but then I got revived by my Palico, so I didn't fail quest. But I definitely nearly failed while fighting him. But they threw back in underwater fighting, which I don't think had been a thing since like Monster Hunter.
How do you use a hammer under the water?
So you don't use your weapons. You get to like swim around, and then you like grab these like pods that are like underwater, and you shoot these crystals at him to deal damage to him. But you can still like dodge and stuff, and then you can use like you get like this they call it a slinger in game, but then They brought back Clutch Claw from Monster Hunter World, which is kind of controversial because people think it made Monster Hunter World a little too easy. But you can only use it underwater, and then you can only use it to clutch onto him, attack him with like your knife or your weapon, and all you're trying to do is get him back out of the water before he like unveils some like crazy attack. I didn't see it because I was too scared to die to him. But yeah, you're just trying to repel him out of the water before he does some like crazy attack, and then after you do that, you just continue the fight as normal. But I kind of like it was like a nice break in between like doing all your combos and stuff, like going into the water. It feels it's more chill. Like dodging is super easy because the attacks are more telegraphed. So yeah. And then I fought Seregios. I tried Seregios, and he was way quicker, but he's like more of like a bird type dragon. And he attacks like purely with his talons. But it was nowhere near as hard as Gaiacris, I thought. Legiacris. Sorry, I screwed up the name already. But yeah, both fights were really fun. Tempered Legiacris was insane, but yeah. So far the update's been really good. I still got to dive more into it. I only played it for about like an hour and a half. But I'd like to think I got a pretty decent time with the new monsters.
Sounds like you played the whole update already.
No, there's still more. Like there's like some new quests, like a couple new like side quests that they added that I haven't played. I still need to like level up, or I still need to get like their new armor because they came with like both Legiacris and Seregios came with new armor sets and new weapons, which new armor sets and weapons usually mean new skills. So then the meta gets shifted. So we'll see what's going on with the meta. And Seregios' skills are the ones that people are going after right now, because there's like something where if you dodge right before getting hit with an attack, it grants you like special sharpness. So you deal like extra damage and stuff. You deal like a percentage more damage, and then it also doesn't like deplete sharpness from your weapon because all weapons in Monster Hunter have a sharpness meter. So it seems pretty cool. We'll see how much the meta actually gets shifted. I kind of hope it does because to me it's a little stale, but the new monsters offer like a really nice challenge, and then there will be those event quests that pop up, which will be a lot of fun to play.
Well, I think that covers it for Capcom. Unless you have anything else to say about any of the other games.
I'm excited for Pragmata. I think it looks cool. A puzzle shooter seems extremely interesting. Like the gameplay that they showed off got me excited.
The gameplay looks really interesting, and I like the setting and stuff.
I think I might give RE9 a go, but I don't know if I can give it a go without playing some of the like more recent horror entries that they've put in, like Resident Evil 6 or Resident Evil 7. But it seems like with all of the Resident Evil games, well, these like the newer one, I don't know if they're like connected. I feel like I need to do some research on that before I try.
It's hard with like games that have like so many in the franchise. It's hard to be like, where do I start?
Right. Do you want to take this next one on?
Yes, next one. Fun stuff. Now we're talking about fun stuff like gambling.
Gambling!
They're taking on esports betting. So, as esports have gotten bigger and bigger, but in reality, no one's making any money off these teams. I've heard Ludwig talk about this because I watch him and he started an esports team, and it makes no money. You're basically just doing it for love of the game, or you're trying to do it because like for the hope in the future that you might make money, and I don't think that's really playing out for anyone. So, Riot Games, who has a big old esport, Valorant, and League of Legends.
Buddy, grab my wallet! I'm putting a parlay on this Valorant match!
They're trying to add gambling. They're adding sports gambling sponsorships to their esport matches. And I guess when I was reading it, I guess they're trying to do it so like they're the ones in control. Like they want to be the ones who regulate it. So they want to get ahead of it instead of just like having it happen because they're just like, well, it's going to happen anyways. People love sports betting.
Yeah, I think they want to try and move like some of the sketchy gambling stuff, but I don't know. It also kind of seems at the same time like maybe they want to do both, I guess, so I won't be so like cynical, but they kind of want the money. I think they want the cash flow coming at them.
Yeah, I don't know, it's challenging because I think for a successful esports, community, you do have to have money flowing into these pro teams, and I don't think there's a lot of other revenue sources for these things other than sports betting and gambling. Like Counter-Strike, which I'm more familiar with, they have a lot of like gambling sponsorships. Like you can go spend money on their website and open cases and stuff, and you can trade skins on their website and they take like a little bit of cut or something, I think it's just like the way the beast has to operate, which is not how I would operate it, but I don't really know a better solution.
Yeah, I don't. We can keep going on this, but I don't know if gambling in esports is the way to go.
Well, just like I don't know. They're not making any money. If people want, like, I guess the issue is they need to do like pay-per-view stuff, and then they need to be selling more merch. But it's like, are people actually going to pay for any of that thing, or people just want to gamble? You know?
Yeah, but I guess they could be taking other sponsorships, but this is like something. So we should add that.
No, I think
so. This is something that
they
Riot
would take other
permitted.
sponsorships. I don't think anyone wants to sponsor them
You think it's yeah, and it seems
because
like
there's no
gaming.
one. It's like so niche that it like they would take other sponsorships, but it's like they don't care. The numbers are low enough. It doesn't bring in enough people for them to actually sponsor it.
Yeah, I do want to bring up the quote from Needham where he said. So this is a quote. He said, "We know sports betting isn't for everyone, and that some fans have strong feelings about it, and we respect that. However, the reality is that betting activity already exists around our sports and will continue whether we engage with it or not."
And he's the head of publishing and esports at Riot Games.
Yes.
I think that's correct. I think if you have a sport, people will bet on it. But
Right.
I don't think it is the morally correct thing to do to put that on the same platform of, hey, look at this competitive game. You should bet on it. Because like you're giving it a whole new light. You're co-signing it, you know?
Right. I guess back to, it's a sport, so people want to bet on it. According to Sport Radar, the people were already betting on League of Legends games, and the total amount that was bet, they didn't give a time frame. So, I mean, I don't know when this happened, but they claim that the esports in League of Legends, people bet well over $10.7 billion just on that game alone. And then they also put a statistic where 70% of those bets were on unregulated sites.
Yeah, so I guess the way they're doing it, they're going to put the spotlight on the regulated ones. But still, it's just like, I don't know. You're putting the spotlight on regulated heroin. It still doesn't make it not heroin.
Yeah, and the Needham also said that I guess his full name, John Needham. He wants to put in he said quote guardrails will be set in place for I guess to make sure that this money is getting into like players' pockets, and then also like regulate the space. And then he gave one more guideline. I have a quote of it. I don't really know too much of what he means by it, but he said strengthens and reinforces the competitive integrity standards of our esports competitions by improving our ability to monitor betting activity for violations of our policy. So yeah, I think they just want to be the rule makers, and they want to make sure that I guess betting doesn't go outside of the rules that they have put in place on their sports.
Yeah, I guess they just want to be the final say. They want to make sure everything's kosher, make sure everything's as good as it could be for gambling, I guess.
But it still puts morality into the question in a way, because do people want sports betting in like esports to begin with? Like,
I think
how does it like?
If you look at it from his point of view, John's point of view, he's like, sports betting is going to be here no matter what, so let's take control of it. Let's get ahead of it. But from my point of view, it's more like, I don't know if we want to promote gambling, because gambling is one of the most addictive vices there are that leads to like the most suicides.
I want it out. I want it out, period, because there's already been gambling in video games, and it got sketch. And I don't remember if you mentioned this earlier, but the CS:GO stuff, where people can basically gamble to get skins to then sell on a marketplace or keep or whatever. But I don't know. I know that these are like professional businesses, like Prize Picks and stuff like that, or like DraftKings. But it's still addicting, Like people will still, I don't know, people will still suffer,
I think it's better than stake, obviously, but it's like we should not be promoting gambling to people.
Yeah, and
if you take a gambling sponsorship, if you do that kind of thing, it's one of the most evil things you can do, because you're just like exposing an audience of people to be like, hey, do this thing, lose money, get addicted.
Well, and the people who are primarily watching this esports stuff is like young people. Like I remember watching, my height of watching esports was in high school. I don't really watch it much anymore, but I the people who are watching esports are young people.
Yeah, I'm sure Valorant ages a little older than some games, but
yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I wouldn't even let's say I'm fine with sports gambling. I like to bet on sports all the time. I don't know if I would do Valorant, because esports, there's always rumors and speculation of match fixing and stuff, and it's you don't know what's going on there. You're opening your sport to be, I guess it's already happening, so So it's kind of tricky, but it's like you're opening yourself up to
Also,
all
what
this
happens
sort
if
of
someone cheats? Like we've seen people openly cheat on stages before. Like, does
yeah.
everyone? I guess what do you do? I know. I the answer might be simple of just like everyone who bet on the game gets a refund.
Well, I'm sure this happens in real life sports, but we are not
Right.
informed on that.
No,
But,
no. We are not sports watchers at all.
if they deflate the ball a little bit, I don't know what happens. I can't imagine the bookies are like, well, everyone gets their money back.
Right. Or like, do they just like throw it back at like, you know, the opposing team of the cheater? You know, those people technically get the win.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
It seems
I do
weird.
think though,
I don't like it.
I kind of think
like
for esports,
it.
I think it's a bullet they kind of have to take. Like I think they kind of have to like, well, we got to make money.
I mean, I guess I'm not businessy, so I guess I don't know how they could, like, what other way to make money there is. But I feel like there has to be other ways to generate revenue than than just going for sports betting. But
Well,
it sounds like it was the player's idea. Because
well, I'm sure they would be like, I would love to keep my job. We should do sports betting. I would love to be a professional. I like to keep my job. I would like to do this forever. Please make it so we can actually make money.
yeah, I also want to say one more thing from Needham, where he said he said this is something that esports teams and quote have been asking us to consider for years. So it seems like I don't know if it's like managers of teams or if that is like players. I guess
I'm sure it's managers.
probably, but I mean I'm sure there are also plenty of players who aren't opposed to it because that also means more money in their pocket.
Or they don't get fired.
Oh, another thing we need to add for the news section of it is that they aren't allowed to wear any like gambling sponsorship on their jerseys. So you're not going to see like Prize Picks on a player's jersey or something like that.
But then where are you going to see it on screen?
I think that's going to be more right. You're going to see it on like a billboard that's like, like insert Valorant team logo X Prize Picks or something like that.
Stake.com.
Stake is probably more likely. I don't know why I keep picking. It's just the first gambling site that comes to mind.
I don't think Stake does like sports betting and stuff, and they just do regular slots and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It is kind of all messed up in general. I think gambling is an awful thing. I think it's like one of those things you got to do super responsibly, super carefully, and I think I frankly think advertising gambling should be illegal.
Yeah,
like cigarettes, they just need to ban it. You can't have your F1 car say Marlboro across the side. You can't have your esports be like, go gamble.
Right. Especially, it's such a young audience. It is such a young audience watching these.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, you can buy your cute little fairy to fly around your gun and also gamble away your money.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Well, I guess we won't see what happens. We know what's going to happen.
We do know
they're going to start making some cash.
They're going to start making some cash, which I do think that's like about the, with the regulation thing. I do think it's more of just like, we want the money coming in. Like, we don't want the money going to these like these third parties or whatever. They want to be the primary money makers. But that's just my cynical take.
Yeah, it's sad, but what are you gonna do? People gotta make that cheddar.
Speaking of cheddar, actually, this has nothing to do with cheddar. But Battlefield leaks are showing up, and the latest leak to show up was 18 minutes of Rush gameplay, which is a fan favorite mode, which
What
also
is
means Rush. Thank you. Rush.
Well, I just don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, it's good. It's a good thing you asked. I'm glad you asked. Rush is a game mode. I believe it originally showed up in Battlefield Bad Company 1. I could be so wrong on that, but I believe that's where it showed up. But Rush is a smaller scale game mode compared to Conquest, which is more what Battlefield is known for, which is like, the big 32v32, 64 players on one map. This one's more condensed down to I want to say it's 32 players. I think they just cut it right in half. But there's 2 bomb sites. It's a respawn mode. I'll say that because I know when I say it's a bomb mode, most people would think it's more akin to like Search and Destroy or Counter-Strike. So you do respawn. You get a certain number of tickets, which is a Battlefield thing, and there's two bomb sites: attacking team, defending team. And the defending team is just trying to defend the bomb sites, and they get infinite number of tickets. And then the attacking team gets a finite number of tickets, but they have to blow up both bombs in order to progress through the map because it takes place in like sections of like larger scale conquest maps. It's very close quarters compared to
So it's smaller scale,
Conquest.
and you have to like go through multiple things.
Right, right. And
Okay.
I think it's a lot of fun with like, it's chaotic. It is like one of Battlefield's, if not Battlefield's, most chaotic game mode. But yeah, it's just
Okay.
like attack and defense, plant bomb, and usually there's, yeah, I think I already mentioned, but there's 2 bomb
And it's
sites.
coming to the new one.
It's coming in the new one. I didn't really get to watch much of the gameplay, but from what I saw, I don't know, most of the gameplay, it's just people not like they're clearly new to this game. But I think it's people who've played Battlefield before, but it's just like, oh, new game feeling. I don't know what I'm doing.
What is this? They're calling this Battlefield 6?
They haven't really released a name for it yet, so it's just people have been calling it Battlefield 6 or just the new Battlefield, but they haven't really said what the name of it is going to be. But we do know it's going to be.
Everyone's leaking it.
Right, everyone's leaking it. We know through leaks that it's going to be a modern setting. And it's supposed to be like tight knit leaks. Like everyone who plays in these playtests has to sign an NDA. They're calling their playtests Battlefield Labs, and that's where people are playing through. And they're saying it's like the most it's like I guess the most intuitive playtest environment ever, which is that's a grand statement to make. But yeah, a bunch of stuff has been leaking online with it's a modern setting. They're bringing back factions from previous Battlefield games. Some gear customization leaked. A battle royale mode leaked.
Boo.
Boo! That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's gonna be part of the paid experience like they did with Battlefield 5's battle royale mode. And the when Battlefield 5's battle royale came out, most of the community was like, "Make this free, please," because nobody's playing this. But we'll see if they make it free. I would hope they would. That'd be kind of cool.
Dead on arrival. Dead on arrival.
I could see that because people are tired of battle royale. But some campaign did leak, which is cool. I like a good campaign in a shooter. I mean, as kind of ridiculous and cinematic as they are, they're usually pretty fun. But it's only in alpha, and the gameplay that they showed was just no textures, animations need a ton of work, cutscenes still need a ton of work.
Have they even officially announced this game at all?
Yeah. This is. I guess they're still just calling it Battlefield. I don't know if they stick with just Battlefield. That'd be rough.
Yeah, very bad.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. But yeah, it's been they've announced that they're working on a new Battlefield. No one knows the title yet, but plenty of gameplay has leaked. There was some leaked gameplay of tank warfare, a tank back and forth fight. But yeah, there's been plenty of little clips.
Chinese and on Bilibili?
It's mainly been
the one
Chinese.
clip I saw was on Bilibili.
Yeah, that's where the Rush gameplay leaked was on Bilibili, and then it was it's a Chinese social media app, and then it was reposted to Reddit, which is how most people in the States are getting it. It's
before it got taken down.
Right. Yeah, you can't. You were able to find it on TikTok, but it had an insanely low view count. Yeah, but overall, fans are pretty happy with what they've seen so far. I think this is. I understand it, but I think it's kind of unnecessary. But a lot of people are extremely skeptical coming off the heels of 2042. But they have.
I think they're going to fumble it. There's no way.
I don't think so. I'm optimistic with this new one, especially from what they've shown, which a lot of people are comparing the gameplay to Modern Warfare 2019. Which
I'm not a big Battlefield person, but me watching that gameplay from Bilibili, I was just like, are they playing Battlefield 4?
Yeah, it did look pretty similar to Battlefield 4.
There's nothing that was like, ooh, well, I gotta play this.
I think
we'll have to see for the official release, but
and I think we're just seeing small snippets of people running around and just only firing their iron sight primary assault rifle for a few seconds before dying. I feel like we haven't really seen anything too extravagant just yet. But they've
everything
already
was looking very Battlefield.
Yeah, I'm optimistic for the new Battlefield game. I'm very optimistic. I just want them to please bring back 5-player squads. 5-player squads was one of the best changes they made in Battlefield 4, and then for some reason, they kept it in Battlefield 4, and then Battlefield 1, and then in Battlefield 5, and I think 2042, they were just like, nope, no more 5-man squads.
Well, we have 5 people on our squad, so that'd be fun, but I don't know if I can see myself playing this game.
I understand that because you're not really much of a shooter person.
I'm going to pay $80 to play a new Battlefield that looks the exact same as all the other ones.
I don't know. I don't really. I guess
Place your bet will be $80.
I don't think it'll be 80. At least I hope
All the new
Mario Kart
Microsoft
doesn't
games
set the
are
new
gonna be
standard.
$80. Every new Microsoft game is $80.
Yeah, but this game's not a Microsoft game.
Yeah, it's EA even worse. They can make it $100.
I guess so. But I doubt that'll happen. I don't know. I just have I have faith in DICE that they wouldn't do that. You know?
Yeah, maybe they feel bad because of how bad the last one fumbled.
Yeah. Okay, one thing that they took away from Battlefield 2042 that I hope they bring back. This is my wish, my one wish list for the new Battlefield game. I want them to bring back first person knife animation because they made that so
First person knife animations.
Yeah, it's so specific. I love animations in games. I love just I don't know. I can sit there and appreciate a nice little reload animation or a nice little interact animation. I just love those little animations. And in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 and all of them except for 2042, they all had insanely unique knife animations. In Battlefield 4, some of the knife animations would be you would do this crazy you stab someone in the chest and then you rip out their dog tags. And then you keep their dog tags, and then also you, the player, get their dog tags and can equip their dog tags. And it tells you who you stole those dog tags from. And I think that's so cool. It gives kind of a personal element of just oh yeah, I bested you. And then I think in 2042, I don't know if they took away dog tags. I would imagine they would keep it because that's such a Battlefield thing. But they added third-person knife animations, and they looked really weird and robotic.
Yeah, but they could sell you new animations on the marketplace.
Which they didn't even add that many, at least from what I've seen, and none of them. I don't know. None of them look good. I just love the interesting aspect of I did this animation because it appeared in first person. I hate being in first person, and then it backs you up into third person, do an animation, and then you're back into first person. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, that is pretty lame. But they do it so they can sell you cosmetics, so you actually see your character.
I get that. I definitely understand that because
so you can see your Beavis and Butthead hit someone over the head.
It is. I think honestly, okay. I know I just said I hate the third person stuff, but Call of Duty has some decent first person ones, or decent third person ones. I mean, I think they actually do a decent job with some of them.
I don't know. For a game as serious as Battlefield, it wouldn't fit.
No, it doesn't fit. I think Battlefield 1 has the best first person knife animations. You really feel the impact. So I hope they add that back. I just love those little animations.
Low hopes for that game.
I love shooters.
I don't know. The last one was fumbled horribly.
I want shooters to come back. I'm tired of every shooter being a battle royale or trying to be an extraction.
This one's going
to
be a battle royale.
They are adding a battle royale, which is.
This game's going to be the same as every other first-person shooter. The Call of Duty's going to come out and no one's going to play this one.
You are such a first-person shooter hater. First-person shooters are so fun. Play Ultra Kill. You will change your mind.
They're all kind of the same.
Play Ultra Kill. You will change your mind.
Okay. Let's move on. Good luck to Battlefield. There's only one EA game I care about, and that's Skate.
Honestly, I get that. That's fair.
But that will probably not be great also in full microtransactions.
You're not even optimistic about Skate?
No, there's no way the game's going to be good.
Yeah, the microtransactions scare me.
The graphics look awful. They've been in development for so long.
Let's hope we get in that playtest, though. Oh,
buddy. We'll be talking about it.
We'll be talking about it.
I'm leaking gameplay.
Posted.
No, EA, I promise. If you give me code, I won't leak the game.
Yes, EA, please give us a code. We won't leak the game. Give me a code to the Battlefield stuff. I won't leak it at all.
Look at the viewer count. There's at least 3. They won't hear about the new Skate game.
Exactly. No one will hear about it.
Exactly. Okay. Next leak. Now, here's a big leak. We're talking big leak. We're coming in the new speedrun mode. We're going to get these quick. Just some fun headlines. Now, skip a little bit ahead if you don't want to hear any spoilers from Legends ZA.
Pokemon Legends ZA, that is.
If you're hyped for that. If you're hyped for that ZA, because I am. New leaked. It was leaked on 4chan, I believe. And it's a new Mega. Mega, how do you pronounce this dude's name? I've never pronounced it out loud.
Dragalge?
Dragalge.
I have no idea. We're definitely butchering it. Someone's going to make fun of us.
No, it's like Dragalge because it's like algae and dragon. Dragalge.
Okay. Honestly, okay, I do have to say this. This is probably maybe a bigger leak than the Battlefield stuff.
Definitely not. Well, I don't know. For the size of the game, probably, because how many copies is it going to sell, you know?
Yeah.
This looks okay. So I saw this on Twitter. Shout out Central Leaks, but it's from 4chan. And it's this image that they provided is slightly edited, but I'm going to do my best to describe it to you. So comparing it to regular Dragalge, it's more wispy. Everything grows longer. All the little algae bits just grow longer. And then it gets a huge plumage off the top of its red hat kind of crest thing. These big old wings that are purple, and it's got like these weird little antenna guys at the top. They kind of look into eyes.
They
And
kind of look like people to me.
they're doing like a little put your hands in the air.
I will say that this design, it kind of reminds me of a biblically accurate angel. If
Yes.
you know what that looks like,
It's
giving
elegant, but also a
Right.
little scary at the same time.
It looks less menacing in my opinion. It
I don't know,
looks
it kinda has,
more
like-
like it looks more angelic. Just like
Yeah.
I'm this biblical being.
And it looks very powerful.
It does,
The rumor was that this photo was slightly edited, like it actually will have eyes.
which that doesn't surprise me. You know, it is just a leak.
I think it'd
so
be kind of
we have to
swag
take
if
it
it
with a
didn't
grain of
have
salt.
eyes, but
I think
Um,
so too, because I think the antennas look like eyes themselves.
yes. And maybe it's like dead algae, you know?
hmm The colors
This
are so
looks
beautiful
cool.
too.
I really like the effect because like on all the new makers, they have like this cool rainbow effect on them.
Yeah.
It looks
got,
like I'm hyped for this game, and this only keeps the hype levels up. Let me check my widget on my desktop, on my phone.
gotta hit the
screen.
Pokemon widget. Tell them
Guess
how
how
many
many?
days are left.
Take a
Tell
guess.
them how many days. Oh man, to October. I don't know, like 170,
107. We're off by,
107.
2 months.
Just flip the freaking zeros around.
107.
But this
So I'm
is the game
excited
that's
for
gonna
that.
make me get a Switch too. This is the
You're
game
gonna get
that
it
will
for
make me
you're
get
gonna
a
get
Switch.
it for ZA.
I will get this for ZA because I want a crisp,
looks kinda
nice
crispy.
frame rate.
It looks crispy. It looks crispy.
It does look pretty good. So,
But this is speedrunning. We're not speedrunning
We're not
okay.
speedrunning.
because the
I'm
next
gonna
one,
let you tackle this one too.
the next one, we're going from my favorite game to my next favorite game. We're talking Minecraft, and they added the lava chicken song from
Don't
the
say
Minecraft
it.
movie
Don't
into the game.
say it.
Chicken jockey.
Don't say it.
You got to kill a chicken jockey, and it drops this,
Which that's
which
a
is
fun
pretty
little Easter
rare.
egg.
To find
It's
a
pretty
chicken
fun.
jockey, and you got to kill it. That's a pretty fun Easter egg.
I think it's fun, but are they milking it? Like they might be. I think they're milking it a little hard.
No, I think it's fun. I think it could have been worse. They could have like added something really stupid from the game. But I think a little song that's like kind of rare is fun. And the way they added it, I was scared they're just gonna like actually add Jack Black singing. But no, it's like a little chiptune, note block kind of sound, and then you hear a villager humming along. It's very fun.
It's very cute. I did take a listen. It's very cute.
And then they're also adding a wolf painting from the game. I've not actually seen the movie. Is there a wolf in the game called like Jeremy or something?
There is a wolf. I can't remember the wolf's name. Let me look it up.
Jeremy?
It's not Jeremy, but I think it does have a Dennis.
Dennis.
Dennis is the wolf's
Yeah,
name.
the painting. I think the painting is called Dennis.
It's very cute. He is very cute in the movie. I won't say anything more in case people haven't seen the movie.
The dog dies.
What?
Oh, that was just my assumption. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, I'm just not gonna say anything.
The dog definitely dies. Okay, I put the screenshot of the painting.
You
Take a
can
look at that
assume
now.
that.
Look at the Discord.
Oh, it does just kind of look like a Minecraft dog, but I get what they're going for. Just like this is
It's inspired by this painting in the movie.
Okay, so it is just taken straight from the movie.
Don't Google Dennis Wolf painting because there's a bodybuilder called Dennis Wolf, and you get pictures of him.
Oh no!
Shout out Dennis Wolf, the bodybuilder. I guess
Shout out.
he could be an alpha person.
When are you gonna start bodybuilding?
Never. Next one.
Next one, The Alters, which is a new game that just came out from 11-bit, which people might know them for their other game, Frostpunk.
This could have been a main topic.
It could have been a main topic. They were found people found generative AI in their games for assets and well, not games, just one game, The Alters, for assets and text. The Alters is like, I think it just came out. It's a like survival story type game where it has like a branching narrative to it, but it seems more like a survival base building game. But people notice.
Yeah, it looks like Fallout Shelter base building, and then like a third person action other
Right.
gameplay.
Right. Which I guess isn't far
It
off.
looks really cool.
Their other stuff.
I've never heard this game until this story happened, and then I thought it looked cool.
Yeah. Which, in my opinion, this story is kind of disappointing. But the people found in flavor text within a graphic that right above, like the very top text says the very classic. If you ever used, ChatGPT or something like that, it says, quote, "Sure, here's a revised version."
Fumbled. Come on, just get that out of there.
And the graphic is so unbelievably
So small.
Like people
the
were definitely
screenshot is
sleuthing
like
it out.
a tiny little graphic in the 3D environment.
Right.
These people were pixel peeping for that, but they screwed up. They shouldn't have.
Big time screwed up on that one. But the main thing that people were mad about was they use generative AI to translate some of the game's text into other languages. And this is just one instance that someone was able to pull, but it said, "quote Sure, here is the translated text into Brazilian Portuguese,"
That's just sloppy work.
which I think is a huge no-no. Like,
That's sloppy work. An AI translation
no.
is dog water. Everyone's done like Google Translate. You go on like some Japanese website, and you're like, translate this English, and it's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I think they were very brave to because this popped up during like someone playing the game in Portuguese. They had to read this first before it popped up with the dialogue, which is pretty insane. They did respond though. I don't know if I'll read both these quotes, but one of them said, "As AI tools evolve, they present new challenges and opportunities in game development. We're actively adapting our internal processes to meet this reality. But above all, we remain committed to transparency in how we make our games. We appreciate your understanding and continued support as we work towards that goal." So it doesn't sound like they're going to stop using it, but they want to be transparent when they do end up using it, which is ironic because checking their Steam page, which according to Steam's distributor like code of conduct or their distribution agreement, sorry, uh, games have to disclose if any sort of AI was used in their games, and that includes stuff like code. Like if you coded something that involved AI, you have to include it. And they say that they want to be transparent, but they still don't have the AI tag on Steam. And this
Yeah,
has
that's
been
weird.
known
They were like,
for
hey, we're
a
being
couple days
transparent
now.
about this. Sorry for messing up. They just haven't They should put the tag at least on Steam before. As long as it's in the game, they need to put the tag on Steam.
And that's kind of what this apology or their statement reads to me, because that was just like a couple of sentences from it. But the rest of their apology reads to me like they had some explanation, but it almost reads as, "Sorry, we got caught. Here's why we did it." When they also went on to say that they used 0.03%, or some of the dialogue, it's 0.3% of the dialogue that's AI generated. But at that rate, why even bother doing it? Like if it's that little amount of dialogue, why even bother going ahead and doing it?
Yeah.
Or how much AI did they use is maybe a better question.
Screwed up.
Yeah, because they said it was also an error, like an insider error, or an internal error. Sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely a management issue. Someone should have caught this. Like clearly, some graphic designer was just like, we need some text on the screen because it's not even on like a thing you're supposed to read. They just like did some generative text when they should have just done like some lorem ipsum so it got replaced, or just like some squigglies.
Because it was like it's if you were just like walking through the game, like not even paying attention, it is unlegible.
It's on
text.
It's on a background prop that it would be something no one would ever read.
But it makes me wonder how much of this like filler text on graphics was AI and then did get replaced, and then they didn't plan on putting the tag. That's really shady if that was the case. I mean, that's all speculation, but it's like
to take them at their word. It's kind of they're just taking, especially with the translation stuff. That's just like super cheap out shortcuts, and clearly they're just trying to reach some deadline that they're rushing towards.
Right.
And they couldn't reach, so they're like, use the translate on ChatGPT.
And the game is self-published, so and I understand, like even though being an indie studio, you still have to meet deadlines and stuff, but I feel like maybe as an indie studio, it has to be at least a little easier to be like, oh, okay, we need to, like, if it's just this little thing that we need to change, we'll delay it like 2 weeks.
I don't know. They're a big studio, and once that marketing ball gets rolling, you kind of just gotta be like, well, we gotta get the thing out there.
Yeah, I think marketing does play a big role, but it's just it's unfortunate to see, because then I don't want this to set a precedent of like, if players are okay with this, more companies are gonna like be like, oh, how far can we get with this? So I'm glad to see the reaction of, this is like, even this amount is not okay. But some people are just like, oh, it doesn't matter because it's that little, it shouldn't matter. And that is the sentiment that I don't want pushed, where people are like, oh, okay, if players didn't care about that, let's see how much farther we can put AI generated like aspects into our game, or AI generated assets into our game.
Yeah, it's bad. They're just cutting corners, and they shouldn't have rushed it. They should have waited. They should have taken their time and like, let's get this properly translated. Let's, write something to go on this screen in the background. And they got called out for it, and they're like, oh, sorry, we messed up.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a slap in the face, but maybe they'll. They said they're working on patches to get everything fixed, like everything, not using AI generated art. But regardless, it was still used. But we'll see if they can save face.
Next up,
Taco Bell
exciting stuff
X
from Taco
Tony
Bell.
Hawk. It sounds fun. Tony Hawk X Tony Hawk and Taco Bell doing a collab together sounds fun. They're doing a celebrity meal, and it's to promote Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. The menu comes out the same day that the game drops, which is July 11th. But what I find a little bit more interesting is that they're including DLC along with the meal. So if you buy the box, which comes with food that Tony Hawk says he used to eat when he was a kid in his dreams of skateboarding, it'll come with like little DLC items during certain weeks that you buy the box. But you have to come back weekly.
You should rate his meal. Is this all one meal? The cheese quesadilla, crunchy taco, chips and cheese, Lipton iced tea. How do you rate that meal?
So it's $7, and I think for this meal, that's pretty solid. I would eat that. I think that's a pretty decent meal. That's a lot. It is a lot of food. I mean, my Taco Bell order is $2 because I get two of the $1 burritos. I eat so much. Those burritos are
when you go
big.
to Taco Bell, you're like, let me just get a bean burrito.
Yeah, but they're big.
Anytime I go to Taco Bell, anyone else like, oh, let me order 16 things.
Because it's cheap. But yeah, I think his meal's pretty good. Cheese quesadilla, crunchy taco, chips and cheese, Lipton iced tea. I think that's pretty solid. The DLC items you have to. So there's 5 different items. You get a Salsa Verde skateboard if you buy it between July 11th through July 17th. A Taco Bell hoodie if you buy it between July 18th and July 24th. A Taco Bell sweatpants if you buy it between July 25th and July 31st. And then August 8th through August 7th, you get Verde grip tape. And then August 8th through August 13th, you'll get the Taco Bell puffer vest, which I think I might go for. I got
so that between the dates. You have to eat the meal in between each of those dates.
You have to buy. You've got to buy
the
Tony
meal
Hawk's,
5 times.
You have to buy Tony Hawk's Lux. It's called what is it? The Build Your Own Lux Cravings box. You have to buy Tony Hawk's specific one between those dates.
I'm reading it on the website. You can buy the regular Lux Craving box or Tony's Hawk's Take 'em.
Oh, you can buy either or. Hey, that's kind of nice.
You can get a $5, $7, or $9.
That's kind of nice. I actually like that. Another little promo they're doing. They're teaming up with Uber Eats. And if you order it through Uber Eats, you'll get you have to order a Pro Skater bundle, which gets you a demo code for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Can you get the demo any other way? Or do you have to get it through Uber Eats?
From my research, which was from GameSpot, shout out Eddie McCook, is who wrote this. He from his article, it seems like you have to buy it through the Uber Eats app.
And they're not releasing the demo in any other way?
There's a demo right now through Game Pass, but this is just like a hey, if you're hungry for, Taco Bell and you Uber Eats it to your home, you order Uber Eats one of their boxes to your home, you get a demo to play THPS 3 and 4.
Are you a Taco Bell rewards member?
Me?
Yeah.
I am, but I never use the rewards because my meal is already so cheap.
Well, you can take a shot at 500 limited custom skateboard decks with 15 autographs by the legend himself, Tony Hawk.
Oh, hey, that's kind of cool. They're really leaning into the whole Taco Bell and Tony Hawk thing.
Or you can get a demo. There's 50,000 early demos in that giveaway also.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I get. I think they're trying. I like this because I think they're trying to have fun with it.
I don't like
rather
this.
than just like, oh, you're not a fan?
No, this is just DLC. That you have to pay a meal for instead of just paying on Steam for your DLC.
But I think you're getting 2 things already. You're getting a meal and you're getting,
it's like a fucking amiibo.
DLC.
You gotta pay money for content that's locked behind a paywall when you're already paying full price for a game.
Well, it's just like it's only if you want. It's just Taco Bell themed merch.
I know, but it's content that's limited behind a paywall.
Right, but it's for those people who like genuinely want it. I don't think people are gonna be pissed that they don't have this. It's gonna be like, oh, that's cool.
If you're playing this game in 20 years, like, man, I want to collect all the skateboard decks. Oh, I can't get the Salsa Verde one because I wasn't around between the 11th and the 17th in 2025.
I think it's a very specific thing to be mad about, and I think you have to be like a true diehard Tony Hawk Pro Skater fan to be that affected by this. Because this is just like, if you want it, you're gonna get it. You know, if you know what's happening and you want it, you're gonna get it during those dates. Because diehard fans know that Tony Hawk Pro Skater is coming out.
Yeah, I'm actually about game preservation. So I think this is bullshit.
Well, I think maybe down along the line they could just unlock all. Boom, you get the. I don't know.
I guess.
Could just unlock all it. I think it's fun though because it gives more about
no,
the meal rather than just like
it's a fun promotion.
You're just busting my goddamn balls.
It's a fun promotion, but also it's like they're putting content behind a paywall. It's like there's no difference between like when they make a dumb amiibo that has like a certain feature that's only locked behind the amiibo.
Yeah.
Or like you have to get the deluxe edition so you can get the the red skin for your gun.
Yeah, the pre-orders are so back, except you have to buy a Taco Bell meal between certain dates.
Also, I saw with the Uber Eats thing, it's a raffle if you get the demo or not.
Oh, it's a raffle, man! I thought PS2 demo discs were back.
Nope,
or like
it's just
PS1
a way for you
demo
to spend
discs.
even more money, so you have to pay Uber.
I just with I guess people who don't know who PS1 demo discs are, back in the day, if you were to buy, or like Pizza Hut did collaborations with like PlayStation, and if you bought a pizza, you would also get like a PS2 case with your pizza that would have demos for like PlayStation games.
Yeah, but we got the internet now. Just let me download it.
Just download it. There you go.
I don't want to buy a pizza. Enough of Tony Hawk.
Talk about your gosh darn
Enough
Donkey
of
Kong.
tacos. Let's move on to bananas and Donkey Kong. Okay, so James Journalist just today got hands-on previews. I was hearing like 3, maybe 4 hours of gameplay. I got to play.
That's a
there's not much to say. I didn't read any of the articles that was like mind-blowing. It just seems like people really like it. Everyone's hyped.
Just kind of
like,
what they've been saying already. It's good.
Great stuff.
It seems good.
There were some people who played the demos at the Switch 2 like early previews before the Switch 2 came out, and they're like, there's some bits where the frame rate chugs a little.
Okay.
But
on a Switch 2, right? Because this cannot be played on Switch 1.
Switch 2 exclusive.
Okay.
And people are saying that the performance was good. I don't know how many of these people. I don't know. Games journalists, you watch games journalists play games. I don't know if they could tell the difference between 30 and 60 frames per second but they're saying it performed good. I saw in a couple, maybe there was a little bit of stuff, but hopefully it's not too bad. You don't want like your flagship Switch 2 game to be like, well, there's a little bit of lag, but I don't know. Breath of the Wild, there's a little bit of lag on the Switch, so
yeah,
who knows? But everyone's saying it looks epic.
Breath of the Wild still feels pretty smooth on Switch 2.
On Switch 2, it's way better, but on Switch 1,
it chugs.
There's some bits where it's like, this is chugging.
It chugs.
So maybe Donkey Kong will ban it and it's over that. Like if you destroy too much stuff, it'll chug a little bit. The only critique people actually had was that Pauline, because she's fully voice acted, she might be a bit of a yapper. People don't really like a voiced main protagonist because they just like repeat the same lines over and over. We'll have to see how bad it actually is, but that's a small critique for them being able to play 4 hours. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm a voice line guy, so maybe it might not be so bad.
I kind of hate it. Like in Marvel Rivals, when the character says like the same line for the 1000th time, it's like, okay.
I have another friend who agrees that Spider-Man's alt sound is like nails on a chalkboard. Like when you hear that, like enemy team Spider-Man, it is like it's the worst. I agree. Some voice lines are just like it's bad.
And then Nintendo also confirmed today that it is developed by the team who made Mario Odyssey.
Which makes a lot of sense because of like the movement, the way that the game looks. It's another like big 3D evolution for an IP that they already got. It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It looks like Mario Odyssey plus more. The movement looks even cooler. I like all the stuff. It looks really epic. So that's just so exciting.
I know I said Pokemon's going to be the needle that gets me to get a Switch 2, but I don't know. Donkey Kong might. If gameplay comes out and like everyone's like, this is like the best platformer ever. It's like, oh god, you know what? Maybe I gotta get in on this.
Guess what though? The widget says it comes out 16 days.
It's close, and I still haven't been able to find a Switch 2 in town. I've been very extremely loosely on the lookout, but I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, seems like our town has been dried out. I saw some articles that were like maybe your Best Buy may have some more in stock today.
Our Best Buy hasn't had any restocks. At least I'm pretty sure.
I feel like something's got to happen soon. But we're now on to the last one.
Speaking of Marvel Rivals, speaking of Spider-Man nails on chalkboard, Marvel Rivals Season 3 got revealed today, being Tuesday, July 1st, when we're recording this podcast. And it releases July 11th. adding 2 new playable characters, being Phoenix, who's going to come out first, and then Blade will come out in the second half of the season. We're getting a new map, which is Clintar, and it's like ran by Null, who's like he's like the overlord of like the symbiotes or whatever. New villain, which they always have a villain every new season. They also announced this in their dev diaries, which I thought was kind of cool. But they're offering verified college students costume trials, which I believe the number was they get 10 skins.
Yeah.
And it rotates per season. So like after that season ends, another different 10 skins will be available for college students to use. But they have to like verify that you are a college student through your school email, and they're trying to help out people who, if they can't find your school, email support and they'll add the school to the list, and then you'll be able to access the skins.
Go dig up your college email, log back in, 10 skins.
Mine's way past deleted. Mine's gone.
Mine's
Doesn't even
deactivated.
exist. They also said that there's going to be a new season every 2 months. So then I think a half a season will be every month, which makes sense. That's kind of what they've been doing already. So that works out. And then
Boring.
They talked about a bunch of various. Such a hater.
I'm just over this game. I'm over this game. I played 150 hours. I'm done.
Well, they showed off new various balance changes, so maybe that'll bring it back into the game. But
The balance changes were like, oh, we're barely changing anything.
Well, in their dev diaries, they're always like, we're nerfing this person, we're buffing this character, and then they wait until to show off the full patch notes. But I just hope.
Here's the changes I want: remove all the flyers, make the healing do 50%. Everyone does 50% healing.
So you want way less healing, no flying enemies.
Yep.
No flying characters. I mean, I kind of understand the flying characters. I mean, I'm a tank main, so they're extremely frustrating, which tanks in Marvel Rivals have a really hard time dealing with any sort of flying character. I think they should just add a flying tank. Flying tank would be so insanely cool. Could deal with any flying character, like actually get in their grill, versus like any tank right now that just struggles to put any sort of pressure on flying characters. You need a DPS that'll put the appropriate pressure on the flying character.
Good thing it seems like they're just adding 2 more DPS.
That, I mean, maybe that's just me being selfish because I want more tanks, but last season they added 1 tank and then 1 new healer, and then this season they're going to be adding 2 more DPS. And the DPS roster is already way larger than the tank and healer roster.
Honestly, I think that's fair. None of the DPSs I really enjoy that playing that much. All the tanks I can have fun playing as. All the healers I can have fun.
Yeah, I think I do enjoy most of the tanks in the game, but sometimes I'm an Emma Frost main, and Emma stays pretty fresh most of the time because her combos, it just feels like I'm playing Smash Bros. And I'm a fan of it. Plus, everyone's just like so scared of Emma, but they're nerfing her, and
Thank God.
scared. I'm scared, but I understand because other people are scared of her. I definitely understand most people wanting an Emma nerf, but we'll see. They're buffing Mantis, who is like my another one of my mains, but they're only buffing her healing, which I think was a very necessary buff because if you had Mantis on your team, it felt like she really wasn't doing much.
Dog water. Yeah, I love the meta where it's like you can pick from 2 healers or 2 of the tanks.
There are definitely 2, like for tanks and healers. It's definitely 2 and 2 who's dominant on the meta.
A lot of fun, I'm glad they're not being like, hey, we should address that. They're like, oh, let's
But we'll see, because Venom.
Let's add some maps that everyone thinks are awful. Why every time they add new maps, they're always bad?
I was not a fan of their like map that they released with Ultron. It was just like the most confusing. Everything
That's the worst map
the
they've
same
made.
kind of map, just like really weird corridor. Like it was just like the same like gray texture with like some orange like lights that touched the ceiling and the floor, and it was
The layout was just dog water.
No cover, like really weird.
Like that one ramp where you're just going up the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
I hated playing competitive on that.
It felt like defense sided, or like if you were attacking, you were definitely at a disadvantage because you had to go up a giant incline with 0 cover.
Yeah, very weird.
It was very weird. We'll see if season 3 will shake it up. I also hate playing on that map. And I hope flyers get like a huge nerf, but it sounds like they're gonna not rework, but they're gonna nerf, the prominent flyers. Iron Man getting a nerf, Ultron getting a nerf. Like it seems like all the flyers are getting the nerfs they deserve because of how dominant they were.
Yeah, the problem with games like this is that they give everyone cosmetics, so they can't just like vault someone like they do in Fortnite. Like I would love it if they're like, oh, this season, no more Luna Snow.
That would be interesting, actually, where it's just like this character. But I feel like that's also unfair to like people who main certain characters, and also in comp you still have bans. So I don't know. Vaulting would be interesting, but I don't know. I think it's unfair to people who put time into a character, like learning a character.
It would be unfair, but when I play against Luna Snow, I'm just like, I don't want to play this game.
I think you're just maybe not
nice job getting
much
infinite
of a
heals
hero
and then
shooter.
cool ult where it's just like, oh, I can't play anymore because no one takes damage.
I think you're hitting the I'm over competitive games. You know,
I think that game they cooked it.
because like is there a
I just don't like
competitive
when you're
game that you
playing-
do enjoy?
Currently, only Mario Kart, and they ruined it. The only like Marvel Rivals is just like you're playing it, and like oh, no one's doing damage because the healing, everyone's getting healed to the max, 24/7.
It is a lot of healing. It's definitely a lot more healing than what Overwatch was.
Just taking back to Overwatch day one.
2016 Overwatch Day 1 was that was a time to be alive, that's for sure. Overwatch Beta, honestly, that felt like a monumental moment in gaming.
Just take me
That's
back.
for sure. You
All
really
the
had
characters
to
have
be
way
there.
more swag. The art style's way better.
Because like hearing about it now, it's just like, oh, it happened. Overwatch like kind of set the stone or set the blueprint for like modern hero shooters. But yeah, 2016
No one's come
Overwatch, you
close.
had to be there.
No one's come close. Marvel Rivals the closest, and it has like half as much swag.
It
also
does
just,
have
like,
the
don't care
Marvel
about
IP
Marvel
swag.
characters.
I was
don't
just,
care about it. I watched this
but
trailer.
I
and
think
I'm
a lot
like,
of people
who,
do.
Who are these characters? Who are these characters?
I think it's a lot of
Who's
fun to be
Phoenix?
had though.
Is she an X-Men?
She's an X-Men, yeah. Yep.
And
She's
Blade?
an X-Men. Blade is a vampire hunter.
Oh, of course, vampires. That makes sense.
He's a vampire that's a vampire hunter.
It's just I don't know. It's not my vibe. I've fallen out of love. Maybe I'll get back in with the new season if they make some changes so it doesn't feel like everyone is a complete sponge.
I just really don't think it's your game because you're kind of
I got 150 hours in it. How much more can I be dedicated?
I think you were doing it for our squad and
I was having fun up until the end.
Oh, okay.
Like that last patch was just like, oh, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah. I think you're ready to move on.
Too many flyers.
Too many flyers, ban flyers.
And the flying and the healing. It's just like what's going on here. We don't want to have a fun game.
Yeah. Well,
someone's liking it.
see.
A lot of people are liking it.
A lot of people are liking it.
I do think right now, if you had to pick like what what's the genre called? What hero shooter should I play? I'm not gonna boot up Overwatch 2. Maybe I should.
I want to re-give it a go. That's for sure. Compare it to Rivals.
Yeah.
Especially with all the new content. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. That was our weekly roundup on news. I think
that's it. We did it.
We did
Best episode yet.
Always the first.
If you agree, give it a like if you're on YouTube, and give it a rating if you're listening to it on any of the podcast platforms. Any of the podcast platforms. Any of them.
And be sure to subscribe. Would really appreciate it. Helps us in
subscribe, like, rate it. Do it. You knew you love it. You got to the end. If you got to the end, God bless you.
You got to the end. You are such a trooper.
Such a trooper. I give you a kiss on the forehead. Please leave me a like.
And a beautiful smile. Bats
and have a beautiful rest of the week.
And we'll see you next week.
Adios.